Public hearing is now called to order. At this time, we will hear an explanation for the public hearing, and I will give that statement. Ladies and gentlemen, the format of conducting this public hearing will be in the following manner. The city clerk will read the notice that was published in the Waycross Journal-Herald. Following the reading of the public notice, the appropriate department personnel will summarize a report regarding the petition. The petitioner shall have 10 minutes to present reasons for the approval of the petition. Opponents of the petition shall have 10 minutes to present reasons why the petition should not be approved. Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the petition should have registered with the city clerk prior to the commencement of this hearing. Speakers should give their name and address, and if more than one person registers in opposition to the petition, the one who registers first shall be entitled to use the 10 minutes that will be present for the reasons and why the petition should not be approved. Following the 10-minute presentations, others will be permitted to speak. Each person so desiring to speak shall have 3 minutes to make presentations. I will determine the order in which these presentations are made, and following the opportunity of all to speak, the City Commission will deliberate the issue and make its decision, or decision will be deferred to a later date. At this time, I will designate our city's clerk, Mr. Nixon, as the hearing's timekeeper. At this particular juncture, we are now to hear the purpose for the hearing. Thereafter, we will hear from our city clerk reading now the public notice, and then our community improvement department will come forward. Mr. Clerk.
Yes. The public notice commission of the city of Waycross has scheduled a public hearing to be held on July 15, 2025 at 4 o'clock p.m. at City Hall, 417 Pendleton Street, Waycross, Georgia, for the purpose of considering an amendment to the zoning ordinance of the city of Waycross. A copy of the petition and the map of the area are available for public review in the office of the city clerk at City Hall during normal business hours. The location of the property is Gilmore Street between Drain Street and Pendergast Street, parcel number WA1105039. Present zoning classification R-50 HD, historic. Proposed zoning classification C2, highway commercial. The description of the property: all that tract of parcel of improved realty in the original lot of land number 202 in the 8th Land District of Ware County, Georgia, being a part of the block number 11 in the city of Waycross, and more particularly described as beginning at a point on the west side of Gilmore Street, which point is 100 feet north of the northwest corner of the intersection of Pendergast and Gilmore Street, running thence north and along the west side of Gilmore Street a distance of 100 feet, and to a point of marking the boundary of the lands of Parker, formerly Stanton, thence at right angle and in a western direction at a distance of 140 feet to a point on the east margin of the alley, thence in a southern direction and along the east margin of said alley a distance of 100 feet to a point, thence at a right angle and in an eastern direction a distance of 140 feet into a point of the west margin of Gilmore Street, to the point or place of beginning. All runs along straight lines, and all points are marked by iron stakes driven into the ground. The meets, courses, and distances of said tract are according to a plat of survey thereof made by C.S. Eidson, Georgia, registered surveyor number 586 on January 22nd, 1952. Copy of which plat is of record in the office of the city clerk of the Superior Court of Ware County in Plat Book A at folio 249. Reference to be said plat and to be the record thereof is hereby made for all purposes. The improvements on said realty consist of a 2-story frame dwelling and garage outbuilding known as number 406 on the west side of Gilmore Street. Property address is 406 Gilmore Street, Waycross, Georgia, 31501. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, we look to our community improvement department for a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Again, this is a petition to change the Waycross official zoning map at parcel WA1105039 from R50 HD historic to C2 highway commercial. The applicant is Remnant Church. They are the property owner, with Pastor Caleb Lancaster as the agent. The purpose is to rezone the property to allow the use of the structure that's on site to be used as a men's residential recovery center. The Waycross Ware County Planning Commission heard this request at their last meeting on June 12th, 2025, and adopted a motion to recommend approval of the request with the stipulation that if proposal does not come to fruition, or if this ceases to operate, that it revert back to the HD Historic District. The analysis, the size of the location is approximately 0.32 acres in size. The property is bordered on the north by R50 HD, which is houses and a church, and O office. On the south, it's R50 HD and C2, which is houses and some commercial property. South will be going towards Corridor Z. To the east is R50 HD houses, and to the west is R50 HD and C2 highway commercial. That's houses and commercial. That's going back towards the old Atlantic Coast Bank. The owner, again, wants this property to run as a men's residential recovery center. The property can be served or is served by city water and sewer and city emergency services. This is a map of the area. The highlighted in red is the property in question. This is the zoning map. So the green areas are the R50 HD. The tan color is the O office, and then the pink, and the pink with the hash marks is C2. The hash marks is just an SDD overlay, which it's a C2 highway commercial, but the SDD overlay just says they have to have the first 10 foot planted in grass or trees, but it is zone C2. So that gives you an idea of what's zoned around it. And with that, any questions?
Commission, did you have any questions of our Community Improvement Director,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do.
Commissioner Nelson?
Could you put the last map up there that you had, the one before that one? So, in relation to that square, whatever, where is Corridor Z at?
It's to the south, down
below.
just off the screen on the bottom down there.
So my question is, could it be zone something other than office commercial? I mean, something that we could keep other offices from popping up even though they're there?
Right. So this would be C2. So to go back to explain the type facility they're wanting to run, our city ordinance says is only allowed in M medical or C2.
Okay.
So even if we made it O office, they still wouldn't be allowed to operate.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the C2, it's spot zoning. Not that spot zoning is illegal. It's frowned upon, but it's not illegal, and it happens other places.
That was my next question, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So, I mean,
Okay.
it does happen, but it's
okay.
usually not practiced. But
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any further questions, Commission? Okay, hearing none, do we have proponents for the presentation? Mr. Nixon, is there anyone to speak tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Commission, you can give me your motion concerning this presentation proposition.
Mr. Mayor, are there anyone here against it?
I did ask that, and he said there was no one.
Okay, for or against it?
No one to speak for either.
Okay, okay.
They're here, but they're not
Okay.
here to speak.
Okay.
They didn't sign up. Right, and I understand, the reason I say that is because, based on this, we were just listening to the recommendation of the Waycross Ware County Planning Commission. And I think they've already made their decision regarding that, and so if it's available for that, the question is to the commission, are we going to go forward with what was requested of?
Okay. Okay.
So just looking for a motion in a second. So I'll ask the question, Commission, what is your pleasure concerning this public hearing request?
Excuse me, Mayor. Can the agent that's not filled out the application, I just assumed they were able to speak for. I mean, I'm the applicant.
You do have right to speak if you like.
I would love to do that before you vote.
Okay. Go right ahead. generally, the reason why I have to say this is that this is more of an educational thing for most of the people. When you sign up, you have to sign up prior to, and that was what my reading was just a few moments ago, so that I think we heard you in one of our meetings making a presentation regarding this. The only concern we had was what the commission was going to allow for. I think that one of the statements that was already made was just a question about locality, and the main concern is not so much what the use of the building will be, but the zoning process, and if that zoning will be for, just say, if it's going to be multi-use, if it's going to have the process of having two types. So I think what presentation was made by community improvement was that it is not going to open up the doorway to other groups to come in and have meetings of buildings of a similar sort. And that was the concern that the commission would have tonight, not so much the background of the building or the purpose for it, because we do know there is a purpose and there is a need. But we just want to making sure that the commission understands that whatever decision we make today, it will not lock us into a one place for all. It is just for the purpose of this particular agent or this group to make their decision. So all I needed for you tonight was just a motion and a second. And I know that the proponent, which would be the agent, Pastor Lancaster, would promote this, but we don't have any opposition.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, so there's none.
No.
Okay.
So we're only for what he was already presented before us, and it had to go back to the Waycross Planning Commission to make a distinction on the zoning. And so the question is, what do we want to do regarding zoning? Not so much what's going to be done on the zoning, because we've already made that presentation, I believe, at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But if you choose to say something, please feel free. I open the door for it.
I would like to speak. Paul said, I believe, therefore I speak. So I believe in this, and therefore I'd like to speak just for a moment. And I think that the fact that there is no opposition speaks for itself. You represent the people, and the only people that are represented here today are people who are for it. I actually would talk about, just for a moment, that word was used. How long do I have?
Well, what I'm doing here, I'm giving you at least 3 minutes to speak.
3 minutes? Okay. The word that might cause some confusion is that word spot zoning that Director Mark Hawkins used. But that you need to remember that you're just 100 and 150 yards away from commercial properties. So I'm not so sure that defines spot zoning. Just the correlation of the distance of, there's commercial right here, that street on that map that they just showed, that is commercial property. And C2 commercial. There's a Circle K that I could hit with a baseball from that property. I also want to highlight the joint Ware County Waycross Commission that I stood before, where you have a number of people that represent the city, a certain number of people that represent the county, voted that their approval on this matter with that stipulation, and I like that stipulation. And that stipulation is that unless, or that we should rezone this property, and with the stipulation that if something happened and this didn't go through, then it would revert back to the R50 historical, or if it ceases to be function as we want it to function, then it would go back. And I think that's a great stipulation. Also want to say this, that we're not changing this to a commercial building per se. I would be concerned if I was the neighbors in that, where there's no opposition, not that spoke, not showed up. But my concern, if I was a neighbor, would be, what are they going to turn this house aesthetically? What's it going to look like? And we're going to keep it looking like a home. We want it to look like a home. Not only a home, we want it to look like a historical home. So that's our plan. There's a lot of blight on that road. This won't be a blighted property. And I think that's important. Not only will it not be a blighted property, you will see the people that will be staying at this house in this year program, you will see them be a benefit to this community, and that street. Your public works can take the day off when it comes to Gilmore Street, because they're going to be bumping the curve and picking up the trash. And I think this is only going to be a benefit to the community. I'll say this and then I'll be done, because I feel like I'm on like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That we don't have a male shortage in this community, in this region. We have a man shortage. And Legacy House is about turning males into men. And our community will benefit from that. Our families will benefit from that. Our homes will benefit for that. And you, I think I can say this, you will be blessed as a result of you voting yes for this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Having heard Pastor Lancaster, I'll entertain a motion for disapproval.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept the rezoning from R50 HD to historic C2 highway commercial.
We have a motion from our Commissioner Nelson to receive the proposal from R50 HD, a historic district, to C2 highway commercial. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Bennett.
Before I do, I think that it needs to be in, I'll check with you, but I think it needs to be in that motion, the stipulation as well.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Well, I assume it was going to fall up under that reading as well, so, okay, I can make it again.
City Attorney.
And not only the stipulation, but how much time are you willing to give in order for the new development to occur? You can't just leave it open-ended. You know, he may be thinking he has 6 months. You may be thinking he has 3 months. He may think he has a year. You may think he has 6 months. So you may want to give a time period.
And what was the time frame that was given in the read?
Was there a time? That was not a time frame.
And Mr. Mayor, for the point of information, I would need to reassess that. If we're going to put a time on it right now, we have to go actually look at the building again. We haven't done all that, if that's going to be a stipulation.
So maybe,
What we'll do, just go ahead and vote on this particular portion of it. So this is what I need from you. Just basically, this was brought to me. Speak on which one?
point of order, he's speaking.
Okay, no one's supposed to be talking when I'm talking. But the note here is, when we have the opportunity right here to go ahead and make the ruling, the question was not about time frame, it was about zoning. But now the zoning, there's a period of time when it can be taken back. So we have not put a time frame on it. And did the WCC, did they give one?
They did not, sir.
Okay,
So, Mr. Mayor,
go right ahead.
can we retract the motion?
You can amend your motion.
Yeah, amend it and retract it to make sure that that is discussed as the timeline, and then we come back in at a later date and approve it.
I'll look to our city's attorney for advice.
Mr. Mayor, the person who made the motion can withdraw it, and
Yes.
the person who seconded it would also have to withdraw the second
Correct.
in order to take off the table.
Okay.
So I make a motion that I withdraw
Okay.
Or you can just simply withdraw your motion, and but the person who seconded has to agree.
as well.
And Madam Mayor Pro
Yes.
Tem, do you
Yes.
withdraw? You
Yes.
accept it?
Yes.
Okay.
So the motion is dead.
Okay.
All right, so now you go ahead and make what statements you were gonna make.
Okay, so I make a motion that this is lengthy, so you may have to help me on it. That we approve the change pending a timeline given by Waycross City government on their construction or moving forward on the building. Is that complete enough, or do I have to dig in a little deeper?
I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
So the motion is for the purpose of creating a timeline and giving the city manager and his team opportunity
Yeah.
to go in and give us a particular time frame. And with that, I need a second.
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Bennett. And I can move into our vote, and I'll do it by
These are just-
voice vote. The voice vote, District 1,
Yes, sir.
Can we do discussion?
District 2,
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
In this meeting?
All right, so with that, the motion that the commissioner brought forward
What you need to do.
has been approved, and that is to wait for a timeline, and the city manager will give us that timeline. And we'll come back to this place again with that timeline, or how will we make the presentation? That would be between you and the agent.
Yeah, so my question would be, would it need to come back, or we just put it on the agenda and then just,
You need to.
it needs to come back still?
It needs to come back. They need to approve.
It's gonna have to
the
come
timeline.
back to me.
Okay.
Could I just ask a question, just a question, because I know this.
Well, at this point, they've already made a statement, and you can't ask me, but because there's a motion on the floor, and
Just a question, general question on going forward? For me, for the agent, for the owner of this property,
understood,
and the 1,000 people that I represent at Redmond Church.
I understand. Where I am right now, I'm in the middle of a vote, so I got to have that vote. You can have the question after the vote, okay? So at this time, I move for voting, and everybody has voted. The vote was to amend the time frame, to give us a time frame, because there was not one.
Mhm.
Okay, and by having said so, that then in turn puts us in a position where, when I rule now, when I'm going to hit this gavel, that means that I'm now waiting on the city manager to make a call, which means his team will have to go in and give me a time frame. That means we'll come back to this same place again. And then we'll rehear this with the time frame involved. That's all I need. And if I am in order, I will ask the city attorney first to respond, and then I'm going to hear the question.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, you have, the commission has voted to approve the request for rezoning, subject to a timeline being determined by the city manager. So that has passed, and the only thing that's left to be done now is for the city manager to come back after he conducts whatever investigation he needs to do, and make a recommendation on what that timeline is going to be.
So it does not forfeit their moving forward and doing what they're doing. It just gives us a time frame in which to get it started, at least, because it cannot be left open, is what we're saying.
That's correct.
Okay.
And Ms. Mayor, is a point of information, I will go out there tomorrow and do the timeline, so it won't take long.
Now, there was a question from the agent.
Yeah, the question is just for clarification on the timeline, what the timeline is for. I understand that, I understood the stipulation as far as that when, if this did not come into fruition, that we would it would go back to the HD zoning. I get that. I understand that there would be a time frame on the stipulation of if it ceased, once started, that it ceased to be a residential recovery and discipleship center. What's the time frame in which it would go back to the historical district zoning? I've got that. What I have a question about is the timeline of construction and all of that. Now, the city manager can feel free to go to the property anytime he wants to and look at that. Now, his timeline or Mr. Hawkins' timeline of completion might be different than my timeline of completion, just based on finances, based on there's a lot of work that has to be done. Also based on what is required from a code aspect. I've already met with the fire marshal, and we've kind of got a pretty good idea about that. But I just want to make sure that this stipulation, if I'm correct about this construction stipulation of time, that it works for all of us, and that I have a voice to say that this, I don't know if I can commit to that. You understand what I'm saying? I would love to say in 6 months I would be finished, that we would be finished. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not comfortable to say in 6 months, because all of these, this project is a work, a completion that's done as the funds come in.
Understood.
Right? Now I believe that it'll happen very quickly, but I still don't want to be held, to a time frame that I'm not comfortable with. So I just want to make sure that me, the city manager, because I don't know if this is I'm talking as a pastor today, not a former code man or employee of the city of Waycross. I don't want to act like I know a lot. I'm going to pretend like I don't. But the precedent of these stipulations, now I'm not aware of, but if this is something that is typical, that's fine. I'm good with that. But I just want to make sure that we can all be on the same page, because I understand this won't come before. I'm not going to be talking to the mayor, the city manager, and Mr. Hawkins, or this commission, the city manager and Mr. Hawkins. I just want to know, what does that look like? What does that how we set up that time frame? What does that look like?
I'm going to look to our city attorney to speak to that, because he's already commented before regarding the same thing. That's where your clarity is going to come at this particular juncture.
Right. Well, Mr. Mayor, the Planning Commission included a stipulation in its recommendation, as we all know. And the question becomes, well, how much time will he have before it reverts back? Now, that doesn't have to be a short timeline. The point is that we don't want to be sitting here 10 years from now, and he still hasn't, made the conversion. So I'm sure that the manager will get with the pastor and his contractor, and I'm sure that the manager will be very liberal in how much time he needs, based upon whatever the plans are. It could be 2 years down the road, for an example. But if you don't put any timeline on it, then there's going to be disagreement about when it should revert back. The church is going to say, well, we thought we had 2 years, we thought we had 5 years. The commission may think something else. But if you put a timeline on this project, then just give him plenty of time to get it done, and just don't leave it open-ended for 10 years down the road. That's the point.
Understood.
So the statement that was actually made was that the stipulation was made by the Waycross Ware County Planning Commission, and that stipulation required us to put a time on it in order for us to make certain that it does not just sit. That's all this is. And so, having had this conversation with the city manager and with pastor and with code, then they can come up with a determined time for us as a group. And that's all we need. Okay. With that, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This hearing is completed. We have another hearing. Okay. It is now, if I'm not mistaken, 4:30. And so it's time for our next hearing. This hearing is now called to order. I will now explain through the rules, and then we'll have a consideration for the petition. Ladies and gentlemen, the format for conducting this public hearing will be the following manner. The city clerk will read the notice that was published in the Waycross Journal Herald. Following the reading of the public notice, the appropriate department personnel will summarize a report regarding the petition. The petitioner shall have 10 minutes to present reasons for the approval of the petition. Opponents of the petition shall have 10 minutes to present reasons why the petition should not be approved. Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the petition should have registered with the city clerk prior to the commencement of this hearing. The speaker should give his or her name and address. If more than one person registers in opposition to the petition, the one who registers first shall be entitled to the use of the 10 minutes to present the reasons why the petition should not be approved. Following the 10-minute presentations, others will be permitted to speak. Each person so desiring to speak shall have 3 minutes to make the presentations. I will determine the order in which these presentations are made, and following the opportunity of all to speak, the City Commission will deliberate the issue and make its decision, or the decision will be deferred to a later date. At this time, I will designate our city's clerk, Mr. Nixon, as the hearing's timekeeper. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public notice. The Commission of the City of Waycross has scheduled a public hearing to be held on July 15th, 2025 at 4:15 p.m. at City Hall, 417 Pendleton Street, Waycross, Georgia, for the purpose of considering an amendment to the zoning ordinance of the City of Waycross. A copy of the petition and map of the area are available for public review in the office of the City Clerk at City Hall during normal business hours. Location of the property is College Street between Martin Luther King Drive and Quarterman Street. Parcel number WA0710-076A. Present zoning classification is RS Single Family. Proposed zoning classification is R45 Residential. Description of property: all that tract or parcel of land situate, lying, and being in the city of Waycross, Ware County, Georgia, consisting of 9.087 acres, and being more particularly described as follows: commence at the eastern corner of the intersection of College Street and Martin Luther King. The point or place beginning of the tract herein described run thence south 41 degrees, 43 minutes, 14 seconds east along the northeastern margin of Martin Luther King Drive, a distance of 727.35 feet to a point. Run thence north 46 degrees, 55 minutes, 14 seconds east, a distance of 549.07 feet to a point of the southeast margin of Quarterman Street. Run thence 41 degrees at 38 minutes, 38 seconds west along the southwestern margin of Quarterman Street, a distance of 713.60 feet to a point at the western corner of the intersection of Quarterman Street and College Street. Run thence south 48 degrees, 21 minutes, 22 seconds west along the southeastern margin of College Street, a distance of 549.87 feet to the point or place of beginning. Said tract being further described as all of tract A consisting of 5.620 acres and tract B consisting of 3.467 acres on that certain plat of survey prepared by Robert L. Cheeseman of H.W. Williams and Associates, Inc., Georgia, registered land surveyor number 2514, dated February 28, 2001, and recorded in the plat book A in the office of the clerk of the Ware Superior Court, said plat being incorporated herein by reference for description and all other legal purposes. Property address 1200 College Street, Waycross, Georgia, 31501. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, we will hear from our Community Improvement Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Again, this is a petition to change the Waycross official zoning map at parcel WA 1105039 from RS Single Family to R45 Residential. The applicant is the City of Waycross as the property owner. The purpose is to rezone the property to allow the use of more density for single-family homes. The Planning Commission heard this request at the last meeting on June 12th, 2025. Excuse me, and adopted a motion to recommend approval of this request with the stipulation that if the proposal fails to materialize, it reverts back to RS single family. So if you remember, this is the piece of property that's under contract with the city. The developer was looking at the LIHTC grant, or the LIHTC funds to build some houses on this property. So the Planning Commission put the stipulation that if that's not, if that doesn't materialize and that doesn't happen, that it reverts back to RS single family. The size of the location is approximately 9.09 acres. The property is bordered on the north by R50 residential and RS, on the south by R50 and RS, both residential. To the east is RS single family, and to the west by R50. The owner, or the proposed owner, is wanting to this to be rezoned to allow more density of single family residences. The single family R90 requires that the lots be 90 by 100. This will require the lots to be 45 by 100. So he would get double the houses there to help make this project viable through the LIHTC program. The property can be served by the City of Waycross Water and Sewer. Emergency services will be the City of Waycross. EMS obviously will be Ware County. This is the aerial map. It's the old Colley Street School. And then the zoning map. And again, the orange color is the R50. The green color to the north and west is the RS single family. And with that, any questions?
I open this now to the commission. Do you have any questions of our Community Improvement Department? District 1.
So, he have a limit of houses that he's trying to build?
He did. So on the grant that he applied for, I think it was 40 houses. But that's putting in streets, dividing that up, putting in streets. I think it was 40, I think. It was roughly somewhere in there that he would do on this.
That's, excuse me, that's 40 houses before this rezoning, or
No, so
40 houses
according
after
to,
rezoning?
no, that would be if it got rezoned. That would allow him to do 40. So basically double what would be allowed. If it currently, you could probably get about 20 houses with the streets and everything in there. You could get roughly 20 houses, and he's requesting to do it this way to get 40, because the way the LIHTC works, it's got to meet certain requirements, and that's where that came in. But he's heard the citizens in that area that they want single family only. He's committed to doing single family, so. It would just allow him to put more houses to make it more viable to get this LIHTC, which is the tax credits to help fund the project. That answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioner, did you have a follow-up question for Mr. Mark?
No, he answered what I was
Okay.
looking for.
Very good. Is there any other question from the commission? Commissioner Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. So these houses, they will be where they can own them, not rent.
So my talking with the developer, the way the LIHTC works is for 15 years. It's a 15-year program. So for 15 years, they would be he would have to maintain them, own them, and then at the end of 15 years, it comes off the program, or you can reapply to get another 15-year tax credit. But his goal is at the end of 15 years is to come off of that program and sell them to the tenants that are living there or to other first-time home buyers.
So basically,
So it would be rented the first 15 years.
So will this be rent to own?
That
no?
I'm not
Right.
sure.
That was
I
my
know the
next
first
question.
15 years it's rented. He's looking into how he can do that, because there are certain requirements based on the funds coming from the state on how he could work that. But that's his goal, is to try and keep them in there that they can purchase those.
so basically pretty much making money, profit, where they would not actually be the homeowners until after 15 years, depending on how he see fit that they took care of the houses or whatever. I thought the point was that they would be able to purchase these houses
I think
before
at the end-
15 years.
Right, I think it's at the end of 15 years, my understanding of how LIHTC works.
Yeah.
And that would be more questions, because that's the developer side of it, and I don't get into that, I don't know that side of it, but, excuse me, from my understanding, the first 15 years, he would have to keep those. He did the LIHTC for the 2 apartment complexes downtown. So it's that same thing. So the tax credits is a way to fund the project to build these houses. So,
Okay. Yes.
and we should
You have a
note
follow-up
that.
question for him?
I was just on the impression that it's like purchasing a home. If I go purchase a home, I'll make, my monthly payment not as rent.
Right.
But this is my house. That's what I was on the impression. That's it there.
Do we have anyone speak for this project or against it?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'm not. He's a four. Okay.
So, did you want to speak, Ms. Dixon? Yes, please.
Yes, sir. And please state your name and address for the record.
Okay. Eunice Dixon, 1207 Emma Street. But I'm for it, but you have to hear history first. 60 years ago, I lived at 1400 College Street. Commissioner Davis lived at 1300 College Street before it was ever a 1200 College Street. We had single-family houses all up in there. We had 2 on this 1200 block. I don't remember the numbers, but behind it, okay, I can't read it over there. Behind that was Ferris Street and Butler Street, now known as Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
It was a house there. It was Doris Street, 18 Doris Street. It was a house there. And the other houses as well, some of them were homeowners, some of us, they were renting. But it was all single family. No one knew who had what.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, we needed 1200 Copy Street, and we were displaced. Commissioner Davis' grandparents moved on Clough Street. 810 Doris Street were the Mariples. They moved on Quarterman Street. The other people don't know where they went, but they had to find some place to go. So everyone was displaced. But in that area, this area right here, if you can see it,
Mm-hmm.
Everything was single family housing, whether it was homeowner or renting. We never knew until they got displaced. So we need housing here. This is a rural area, Title I schools, Dollar Generals on every corner. That tells you something about where we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we do need housing. So you all gotta figure it out. Because we would like to have that single family housing over there. We want that. But saying it's gotta be out, you gotta purchase. If you're working at Dollar General, and I'm not talking down on them, they might not be able to purchase right now, but they might be able to work up to it. But if we don't have anything available to them, they'll never get that chance. So you all got to figure this out. Thank you.
Thank you. I just talked to Ms. Marable today. She just came in, and she came to pay the bill for her mom that used to live in that very area that you were making mention of. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was in the 1400 block. He was in the 1300 block, and he used to walk to his grandparents' house. We had a family neighborhood until we all were displaced. We weren't displaced, but 1200.
All was displaced.
All that was displaced. And that was before your time. So all you know is an empty field. But I remember a neighborhood. So did Commissioner Davis. That's why he fought for that. And that's why I'm here, for him. We want single family, whether it's rental, whether they buy, whatever. Make sure it's single family so they can have a family setting. We got parks over there, Baby Park. We got stuff on them. We just need to have some people over.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Figure it out.
Is there anyone else signed up to speak?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Hearing none, Commission, we've heard from Ms. Dixon, who lived in the residence or in that area, and we just want to consider, unless Mr. Hawkins, did you have anything else you want to add?
I just wanted to make sure that I got the stipulation right. So the stipulation from the planning commission was that it be rezoned with only single-family houses to be built, and that if it fails to materialize, that it reverts back to RS.
Thank you.
So I don't know if I said that about the single-family only. At the beginning.
You did. You did. It said if it does not materialize, it reverts back to RS family. Okay. We've heard the presentations. Is there a motion to receive this proposal?
Go ahead.
I have a question before we receive it.
Okay,
and
go right ahead.
I appreciate you, Ms. Dixon. And I would like to see, the houses over there as well, single family. Now, we do have a little situation that could go with that as well, is we don't know what the rent, what the amount of the rent is going to be. Whether or not the people that, like you say, that work at Dollar General is going to be able to afford that rent, or whether or not we're going to have a revolving door over there where they can't afford it, and then they moving in and out of it all the time. So, you're looking at a 15-year period where somebody rent a house, and they're gonna be able to afford the rent, if you understand
I do
what
understand.
I'm looking at. I don't mind about the housing, but what I'm saying is whether or not they're gonna be able to afford it, and we not having another issue over there for us, people moving in and out in the house. I know he's gonna be over the houses and look like he, doing a pretty good job, doing a good job with his rest of the property. But that's just what I'm looking at.
And thank you for stating your concern, Commissioner. And his concern, again, is actually understandable. Just the idea of how much will it cost, but that's not our concern here. Our concern is the zoning so that the houses can be built. So we can consider that at another time, but I do know at this point the focus would be on why or whether we will change it from R5 or R50 residential to R50 MH residential mobile home. Is that what I'm talking about? No, I'm talking about, I'm sorry. That's my next one. I'm looking at my next one. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And I'll do that periodically. But we understand exactly, going back to it'll go back to RS family if we do not make a decision, which means that the field will stay open. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion again for the transference from one to the other.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept this public hearing to move our single family, that we add single family homes to Colley and Martin Luther King Drive and Quarterman Street. Did I do that?
Okay, so we have a motion to receive the proposal that has been given to us. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll move into voting. I'll call by districts. District 1.
Mr. Mayor, but before you call for voting, just a
Yes.
point of order, are you going to put a timeline on this development as well? I think that was a recommendation of the planning commission, was it? I mean,
Yeah, I
that
think
it would
they
revert
also
back
put-
It
after
would
certain.
revert back. The LIHTC should be, if I may, Mr. Mayor, the LIHTC should be announced around September, October. Will be when he gets notice that he does that, and then it'll be time for transferring of the paperwork. There's strict guidelines on when they have to start, and because it's government aided, so there's strict guidelines on all that and the rent and everything. So, but they should announce the awards, I think September, October, November, somewhere in there.
Okay, so what the motion could be is that based upon the recommendation of the government's LIHTC, because they're going to have to go by that process, otherwise they will revert back. So if, I believe it's already received, but we just got to make sure that the awards are given, and we know specifically of the time frame. And I think they'll give us the time frame based on what's coming up. You say September, October. So how do you propose to craft this motion?
The motion is to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission, which is based on the LIHTC criteria. I think that probably needs to be stated in the motion.
Okay.
And that will take care of the time.
Okay, very good. And we can go back to our Commissioner Roberts and also Commissioner Bennett. Commissioner Bennett, you can restate. First, do we have to make an amendment to this? We can make an amendment.
Yes.
Okay, so because the motion itself is correct, it's just that it needs to have, according to the LIHTC requirements.
Right.
So I'd like to make an amendment to add to LIHTC that we, by September, October,
Well, no, you're gonna just say, according to the LIHTC.
according to LIHTC,
Mhm.
I'd like to amend.
According to the LIHTC criteria for
His
development.
criteria that's set forth by LIHTC.
And then I will need your second on that, again, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir, I second it.
Okay. Having heard that, we'll move into voting with the modifications. We'll start with District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so very much. With that, that has been passed, and we can encourage those who are listening to note that movement is being made. At this time, I entertain a motion for adjournment of this hearing to move into our next hearing.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion from our Commissioner Nelson and a second from our Commissioner Bennett. All in favor, aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. We're out. And now I call the next hearing to order, and we will look at the consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, the format of the conducting this hearing will be in the following manner. The city clerk will read the notice that was published in the Waycross Journal Herald. Following the reading of the public notice, the appropriate department personnel will summarize a report regarding the petition. The petitioner shall have 10 minutes to present reasons for the approval of the petition. Opponents of the petition shall have 10 minutes to present reasons why the petition should not be approved. Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the petition should have registered with the city clerk prior to the commencement of this hearing. The speaker should give his or her name and address. If more than one person registers in opposition to the petition, the one who registers first shall be entitled to use the 10 minutes to present the reasons why the petition should not be approved. Following the 10-minute presentations, others will be permitted to speak. Each person so desiring to speak shall have 3 minutes to make the presentations. I will determine the order in which these presentations are made. Following the opportunity of all to speak, the City Commission will deliberate the issue and make its decision, or the decision will be deferred to a later date. At this time, we will designate our city's clerk, Mr. Nixon, as the hearing's timekeeper. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public notice. The Commission of the City of Waycross has scheduled a public hearing to be held on July 15th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. at the City Hall, 417 Pendleton Street, Waycross, Georgia, for the purpose of considering an amendment to the zoning ordinance of the City of Waycross, Georgia. A copy of the petition and a map of the area are available for public review in the office of the City Clerk at City Hall during normal business hours. Location of property is Bertha Street between Bick Street and Sylvan Street, parcel number WA 0409-031. Present zoning classification is R50 residential. Proposed zoning classification is R50MH residential mobile home. Description of property, all lots of 16 and 17 block N of Park Place, a subdivision of Waycross, Ware County, and shown by a plat of said subdivision recorded in Plat Book A, page 137, in the office of the Clerk of Superior Court of Ware County, Georgia, together with any and all improvements located thereon, and including a house known as 910 Bertha Street, Waycross, Georgia, said property being further identified as map and parcel number WA04-09-031. The property address is 910 Bertha Street, Waycross, Georgia, 31501. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. At this time, we will hear from our Community Improvement Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Again, this is a petition to change the Waycross official zoning map at parcel WA 0409-031 from R50 to R50MH. The applicant is Mr. LJ Welch and Associates. Mr. Lewis Welch is the property owner. The purpose is to rezone the property to allow the use of the existing mobile home that's on the property to be utilized again. The Planning Commission heard this request at their last meeting at June 12th of this year and adopted a motion to recommend approval of the request. The location size is approximately 0.22 acres. It is bordered on all four sides by R50 residential. The owner wants the existing mobile home to be able to stay on the property. The mobile home has been there for many years. This area was rezoned back around probably 2008 as citywide. There were certain areas, so basically from Gardenton over to Glenmore and from Corridor Z down to just past Big Street. All of that was rezoned from R50MH to the R50. The property obviously is served by the city water and sewer and city emergency services. This is an aerial map of the property. Again, you've got the red that shows the property. This is the zoning. The orange again shows the R50. The brown section up to the north, that's the Garlington Circle area. That's R50MH. It's the mobile home park that's right behind Garlington Apartments. And then to the south, you'll see that's the railroad. That's the dark gray is general industrial, and the light gray is the light industrial. And with that, any questions?
Commissioner, do you have any questions of our department head? District 1?
No, sir.
District 2?
No.
District 3?
No.
And District 5? Yes, sir. Okay. Do we have anyone here to make a presentation?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We have Mr. Lewis Welch. Mr. Welch, could you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Lewis Welch, 2891 Evergreen Road, Waycross, Georgia. We've owned this house, this trailer. It looks more like a house to me than a trailer ever would. If you were to look at it, you would think it were a house. It's a 1988 Flintstone. It's been well maintained. The hurricane that came through that caused such damage, it sustained none. No claims were made against it. There's a family that lives there. They underwent some sickness and cirrhosis of the liver, and the guy said that the good Lord cured him at one time, and then he went back drinking. He developed it again. His wife divorced him. She's still got her furniture and belongings inside the house. They want the house. Her dad and her brother are preachers. They're Hispanic. They are good people. They are hardworking people. The property taxes have been paid. Mobile home taxes have been paid. Everything's current. They've even maintained the property insurance, which has just been re-upped. During this process of where they've The husband got sick and she divorced. That's where the water was turned off. I did not know that it had been turned off, and surely we wouldn't be here today talking about the property if I did know. I would have corrected that. There's 6 mobile homes in the area. I would claim that this mobile home, the water's been turned off for some time now, but pressure washing, it would look great. It would be a benefit to the neighborhood and to the surrounding houses that you compare it to. The lady that lives there and wants it and has her merchandise there and her belongings, she's a hard worker. She works at Clayton Homes. And they're just good people. And that little lady said earlier that Waycross needs housing in residential areas. This one's there. People have lived in it, and by their own mistake, they let the water lapse, and they want it back. They want to get into it. Pardon my nervousness.
That's no problem. We understand. Thank you.
Any questions?
Anyone have questions of Mr. Welch? Thank you so much. Having heard the presentations made by our department head as well as the proposed thoughts concerning the properties by Mr. Welch, what is your pleasure, Commission?
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the Bertha Street, Big Street, and Sylvan Street from R50 residential to R50 mobile home residential.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Our motion is from our Commissioner Felder, second from Commissioner Nelson. We had room for questions and answers. We'll move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. The zoning has changed. Thank you. We are back into the next public hearing. You ready?
Let me get something to drink.
You can get it. Ladies and gentlemen, the format for conducting the public hearing will be in the following manner. The city clerk will read the notice that was published in the Waycross Journal Herald. Following the reading of the public notice, the appropriate department personnel will summarize a report regarding the petition. The petitioner shall have 10 minutes to present reasons for the approval of the petition. Opponents of the petition shall have 10 minutes to present reasons why the petition should not be approved. Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the petition should have registered with the city clerk prior to the commencement of this hearing. The speaker should give his or her name and address. If more than one person registers in opposition to the petition, the one who registers first shall be entitled to use the 10 minutes to present the reasons why the petition should not be approved. Following the 10-minute presentations, others will be permitted to speak. Each person so desiring to speak shall have 3 minutes to make the presentations. I will determine the order in which these presentations are made, and following the opportunity of all to speak, the commission will deliberate the issue and make its decision, or the decision will be deferred to a later date. At this time, I will designate our city's clerk, Mr. Nixon, as our hearings timekeeper. Mr. Nixon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public notice. The Commission of the City of Waycross has scheduled a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, July 15th at 4:45 p.m. at the City Hall, 417 Pendleton Street, Waycross, Georgia, for the purpose of considering an amendment to the Waycross zoning ordinance text, sections 700.3E, 700.4A5, 701.3E, 701.4A5, 705.4E, and 717.4E, pertaining to amending text language regarding the side yard setback for residential structures in the zoning ordinance to make more uniform. full text of this proposed amendment and the full text of the Waycross zoning ordinance are available for public review in the city clerk's office at Waycross City Hall, 417 Pendleton Street, Waycross, Georgia, during regular office hours. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. At this time, we look to our Community Improvement Department head.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This is the last petition. It is to amend the provisions of the Waycross zoning ordinance, the sections that were stated. The applicant is the city of Waycross. The purpose to amend the zoning text to change the text of the side yard setbacks for residential uses in the zoning ordinance. The planning commission heard this request last month at their meeting and made a motion to approve the request. The proposed text, again, if you recall, we met several times and discussed this in work sessions. So currently, I don't know if y'all have the papers, but currently in residential neighborhoods, you have the side yard setbacks, you have a least dimension and then both sides. What we discussed was just doing away, taking out the both sides, and the least dimension would be, for instance, in the 700 for RM 75 residential, instead of it being 8 feet on one side and 12 on the other, it would just be 8 foot on either side. So it would give you more yard to do that. So we went through and just struck out in any residential, which would cover single family, duplexes, and multifamily. Took out that requirement, so now it's just one side yard setback, which again is what we talked about and is what is kind of the industry standard now. So that's the proposed text, is just strike all that out of all the code sections. So again, it would be for the RM 75, the section 701, which covers RS, R90, R75, and R50. And then if you look at R50 MH or R75 MH, they revert you to section 700, so that's why you don't see one for each one. Some of them point you back to these. And again, it just covers the multifamily, the single family, and duplexes. And then also no office, and then the mixed use. So anywhere there was residential that didn't point you somewhere else is where we're striking that out, if that makes sense. And again, it's just to make it more uniform and gives them a little bigger yard there. Any questions?
Just one question from me, and that question is, will this be applied to those that came before us today? In those cases, if there was a situation of that sort, or is this going to be retro, or is this going forward?
Well, it would be, this will be starting from any date, so it's not going to be on the meeting tonight. So if you approve it, it'll be on the next meeting to read it the first time, the following meeting to read the second time, then it would be from that point on.
Okay. So it'll be 2 readings, and then from that second
Correct.
reading thereafter. Okay,
Yes.
That's my clarity. Thank you so much. Okay, questions of the commission for Mr. Hawkins? District 1.
If you don't mind, excuse me, you say from side to side is 8 feet?
Well, it just depends on what district you're in. Like I said, because R50, we'll just look at 701.3. You've got RS, R90, R75, and R50. R50, the lots have to be at least 50 foot wide and 100 foot deep. The R75 has to be at least 75 foot wide, 100 foot deep. And the RS and the R90 have to be at least 90 foot wide and 100 foot deep. So if you look at those side yard setbacks, it would take R50, the minimum setback is 6 foot. And then both sides, currently it would be 6 foot on one side and a total of 15 feet. So it'd be 6 on one side, 9 on the other. Now it'll just be 6 on both sides. If you go to R75, it'll be 8 foot on both sides. And then R90 and RS will be 10 foot on both sides. So we didn't reduce any of that. We just took out the bigger cycles. In the RS, you've got to have 10 on one side and at least 15 on the other. So it did shrink those down a little bit. Does that answer that question? So it depends on what zoning district you're in. Will still determine your side yard setbacks, but it makes it now just one size for both sides.
So it sounds like it's becoming more symmetrical, and then it's going to have more equality on each side of the house rather than.
Correct, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something?
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes. I think what Commissioner Roberts is getting at, giving an example, Thomas Street, those size lots. What are those lots zoned?
Those are on Thomas Street,
You probably won't know, but
R50.
so
Majority of those are R50, so the lots will be 50 foot wide.
yeah,
So those setbacks will be 6 foot on both sides.
and that would make it more palatable for somebody to come in and
Correct,
build.
correct. It would just give them more room to build a little bigger house
Without restrictions. of
without restrictions.
What we had before.
Correct.
Okay. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Back to you, Commissioner Roberts.
Did you have a follow-up question?
No, sir.
Okay. And any other questions, Commissioner District 2
No, sir.
or District 3?
Yes.
District 3.
My question is, this is kind of a follow-up to what was stated earlier about these changes if the commission does approve it. And so we'll have the next meeting, then the second meeting, second reading, and then possibly approval. So do you foresee at all, for any reason, these changes, if voted on by this commission, impacting anyone in any other area? Will they be grandfathered in? And that my question may be a far
So-
stretch.
So I think I get what you're saying. So if somebody's already got a house, if they wanted to add on, if they did it after this was enacted, their setback would go to the new one. It wouldn't be the old one. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, so they would not be
So if they've already got a house there and they want to add to it, it would go by the new setback.
the new setback.
If it comes after, if they submit their application after that.
Thank you.
Okay. We have heard the presentation by our director, as well as do we have anyone speaking on the behalf? Okay. No one speaking at this time. So at this point, we'll entertain a motion to receive this presentation or proposal.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the setback changes for the residential structures and zoning ordinances.
We have a motion from our Commissioner Nelson. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion dies for lack of a second. Okay. At this time, we move to entertain a motion for adjournment for this meeting, and we'll get started.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion for adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We are out of the public hearing, and we are now into our Waycross City Commission meeting. And we look to our Commissioner Nelson for the call of our invocation, our pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord. We bless you and we praise you, Lord. We give you all the thanks, Lord Jesus. And at this time, Lord, as we enter into our meeting, Lord, we ask that you give us the wisdom and knowledge and understanding to do things that is pleasing to your sight and your ears, Lord. This and everything as in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to thank our Commissioner Nelson for our invocation and pledge. Now at this time, we look to our city's clerk for the reading of our decorum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Section 2-66, decorum. The mayor, commissioners, staff, and persons in attendance shall conduct themselves in a professional and respectful manner, except when expressly authorized by the mayor. All remarks, comments, and questions shall be directed to the mayor and not to individual commissioners, staff, or persons in attendance. A commissioner, staff, or person in attendance shall not speak at a meeting until the commissioner, staff, or person in attendance has been recognized by the mayor and granted permission to speak or ask a question. All comments, remarks, or questions may be made by commissioners, staff, or person in attendance shall address the item or motion that is being discussed or pertinent to the resolution, ordinance, or agenda item before the commission. No one shall make or use inappropriate, insulting, vulgar, obscene, and/or profane language or make any offensive remark or comments while speaking. Nor shall anyone accuse any other person of being immoral, violating any law, rule, or regulation, or committing any ethical violation. Further, no one shall use this opportunity for public comment to speak about any activity undertaken for political reasons or ends, such as campaigning for votes before an election, campaigning for another person, making speeches or attempting to raise funds, etc., or otherwise promoting oneself or private position. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Commission, you have heard the decorum read by our city's clerk. Now, if you will, please look at your agenda, and we will entertain a motion to receive the agenda.
May I make a motion that we receive the agenda?
There's a motion from our Mayor Pro Tem to receive the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Nelson. Are there any questions or concerns regarding the agenda? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. The agenda is approved, and we move forward. Are there any public remarks on official actions? No. At this time, we look to our city manager to call for the person who will be giving the employee of the month.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt, will you please step forward to the forum?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm pleased to introduce tonight our Employee of the Month for the month of July. And that person is our Fleet Maintenance Manager, Mr. Nathan Guy. And he was nominated. I'll read what the person who nominated him said. They said, I would like to nominate Nathan Guy for recognition as an outstanding individual who truly embodies the qualities of a hard worker. He consistently goes above and beyond expectations, demonstrating a deep commitment to excellence in every task. Highly knowledgeable in his field, Nathan brings insight and expertise that elevate the work of those around him. What sets Nathan apart is not just his dedication to the craft, but also the genuine kindness and positivity he brings to every interaction. He is not only a valued team member, but also a pleasure to work with, making this nomination both well-earned and enthusiastically given. And I would add to that of all the departments, of course, we work together. We work together with fire and police and codes, interact with them when needed to. But as a manager, I think Nathan interacts the most with all different divisions because, as you know, there's between all the vehicles and police cars and fire trucks and equipment, there's a lot of things that come through the shop on a day-to-day basis. So he's interacting the most with police officers and detectives and firefighters and the engineering department. And, the list goes on and on. He is always interacting with them, going back and forth, helping to resolve, because, anytime that, whether it's a car or a tractor or something breaks down, it's, the most important thing is to get that fixed as soon as possible because it's important to somebody. And so he's always prioritizing that. He's always, working diligently to repair something the quickest and most efficient way possible. And I think that's, truly recognized by not just us in Public Works, but every department in the city obviously recognizes that fact that he's juggling a lot. And for a person who's yet to break the age of 30, has a lot of knowledge and a lot of commitment to this field. And so, I'm pleased that he's a member of our crew, and we certainly are lucky to have him, and hopefully we'll have him for many years because it's definitely he's a benefit to every agency in this city to make sure that we have the best running equipment, that it's safe and reliable and repaired in a timely fashion. So I'm pleased that Nathan is here.
I'm going to come down to you. I may have to borrow Mr. Dixon's microphone. Mr. Nathan Guy, on behalf of the city of Waycross, I am extremely thankful for the work you do. I actually ride in some of the cars you work in. So I want to appreciate you doing what you do. And for that, I want to, first of all, give you this great plaque that you can hang on to. But I have some money to put in your hand as well.
I appreciate that.
You're quite welcome. And congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
They want to take a good picture of you. I think that'll happen. Thank you.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, Mr. Nixon. At this time, we look to our city's manager to make his report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And for the city report, we'll be using the slides today, as some of the citizens requested we use the slides for the commission meeting as well. We're gonna try to use the slides. Okay. Mr. Mayor, the vision and mission has not changed. The priorities have not changed. The priorities further explained have not changed, with the exception we added the blighted property as a standalone priority because the commission has made that their next immediate priority to rectify. And for those who may watch they missed the working session, the summary of these slides are on that working session on video. Again, as discussed yesterday, Mr. Mayor, we're going to highlight two areas, an area each week of the priorities. The first being the canals and alleys, and we talked about it yesterday about some things that the commission has directed me to do. We did meet with the Corps of Engineers. We are doing data collection. We are following some of their recommendations as far as canals and alley maintenance. The new addition was the blighted properties. And we're gonna right now in the infant stages of researching best practices, building that small committee to help us out on the proper inventory, and then coming up with creative ideas to mitigate this problem. As stated yesterday, this is a long-term problem that will require long-term solutions. Again, we haven't found any other city has cracked this egg yet. We're gonna make our best attempt to do so. I've already had some recommendations from some of the citizens and some of our business area. We'll try to apply that information as well as we move forward, trying to shrink the number of properties. As an example tonight, during the hearings, you did hear other alternatives for these properties being new uses. So that was good to hear, I guess, real action that could happen with some of our properties that can be saved. 10-year plan remains the same, Mr. Mayor. We're in the midterm phase, 2 to 4 years. Everything is on course and on schedule. We did have the first IT changeover. We did have a few hiccups, but it did end up being very smooth. Again, thanks to the great co-leadership of Mr. Smith and Mr. Simmons on departments, making that a smooth transition and talking to our citizens face to face each and every time to explain to them why the process was needed and how it benefit them over time. Mr. Mayor, moving to the infrastructure update. This has not changed much from yesterday, but I will repeat some things for any new audience that we have today. Of course, the water and waste treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, is still ongoing. The engineer department did change out the program manager there and the contractor there, so we're back on schedule for getting that done as far as upgrades and repairs. Sweat Street is still ongoing. with the LMIG. Quarterman Street, we kind of discussed that today about that property owner. That's one of the things he's gonna do as well, is help us out with that. As he builds those houses, he's gonna help us out with that sinkhole. So we're very appreciative of that property owner assisting the city on making the streets safe for those citizens. We talked about the 36 roads. I did omit some dirt roads, and Mrs. Strickland, Don Strickland, our engineering department lead, she did do additional research, so we added the additional roads. I think we're up to 40. I think I sent an email today. I want to say it's up to 46 now. 42 now for those dirt roads. Also, we did go back and relook the mandate, and there was some confusion on what the mandate was for that resolution. I'm trying to get further clarity. It just said that we had to surface the road, not necessarily pave the road. So I think they did mean we could use milling on some of the roads. That's not the case, but we're trying to verify that right now. Also, to use once that is completed with all dirt roads to do some initial pavement of those monies left over. Right now, you see the estimate of the roads being 2.5 million. We did put in the budget 4.5 million for the overall roads to get done. So we should have some savings left over once we get all the dirt roads completed. And once again, it's just an estimate. It might be less, it might be more. We won't know that till we start doing the actual work. We did post the dirt roads to the website this morning, so citizens can see the roads that have been done in the past, the roads that are currently under contract, the roads that are in the next phase, and the roads that to be done. It's color coded. Should not be that. Should be simple for citizens to understand. However, if they have any questions, they can reach out to my office or the engineering branch, and we'll go into further detail for those having further questions. As I mentioned yesterday, the paving road striping has been started. We're still working the canals areas. The parks are on schedule. The water leaks here, as I said, we don't put all the leaks here on daily report. Right now, we have each week we manage about 40 to 50 leaks. As they come off the report, it changes each day. I did update this slide, but the commission did get the new slide. You will see that I think Israel Street, Knight Street, Spurgeon Street, and a few more streets were added. Pine View Street was removed. Folk Street was removed. Highsmith Street was removed. So if they get the list down, you'll see new pothole streets with potholes on them into that. And like I said, we're averaging about 40 to 50 a week. So you're looking at a month time frame. That's an average of 200 potholes / sinkholes that are getting mitigated monthly. So again, much respect to and kudos to Mr. Lake and the Public Works Director, because he's hand in hand with him about getting this done. They do, for general knowledge of the population, the public, they do ride around in the morning as I do myself, and we check for additional potholes. This is a daily thing. So sometimes when we get calls in, as you can see, it's already being mitigated, especially when I get phone calls. I don't normally say anything, but we got it. But we probably already identified that pothole and it's on this list. So again, I ask citizens to look at the list and use the app. That's going to be your fastest way to get the correct information when dealing with our potholes and sinkholes. And that's it as far as that part of the city update, Mr. Mayor. I will move into, I said I would give a final update of the GMA summary courses. What I did was, we've all looked at this before. This is just the classes everyone took for the commission, administration, and staff. And then we did the course summaries on what was in each course. And again, this is online for citizens. We'll post this on the city manager's page of the website, so if they want to look at this in detail. Again, just summaries of the courses that we all took. And I got this some feedback from select commissioners and staff, and then some of this I pulled straight from the GMA website. Again, summaries. Again, course summaries. And then course summaries. What I did with the course and action plan, I tried to go back and look at all the summaries and some of the feedback that I received from some of the commissioners, and kind of just put four action items. Didn't want to try to do too much. We got a lot going on already, but these are the areas that align already with our priorities that I think we all benefit from the most as far as moving forward, what we learn from it. Each of these classes, we have multiple commission, admin, and staff that went to these courses. The main one being, of course, finance, and the main thing here is the revenue generation, or requirements deletion. That's the only way that we can impact, first of all, the budget, and then our staff as far as salaries. I want to make that clear. So using some of that course material, and I think I sat in with two of the commissioners in that course. It was a great course, and we talked about a host of things. But the main thing was, really utilizing your taxes to make your city benefit from your taxes. And the main point of the tax is, and it kind of aligns with that third comment down there about a communication strategy, making sure everybody understands what the taxes actually fund. And I'll say this again, it's in your budget books, but 2/3 of our budget is going to be salaries and benefits. So until that, either we raise more taxes or we cut that thing down, we'll always be in that quorum of trying to figure out how to best benefit our workforce. Next would be building bridges between cities and colleges, and that really is a focus. And we mentioned this before. I think two of the commissioners mentioned when I first got here about how do we get the college students that go to the college, to both colleges actually, but don't live here. They live in other areas. And we initially talked about needing more housing units. And now we got housing units coming, so it's another great point on leading to discussion. There will be people that have money for those houses, if not just to rent, and normally they should be able to maintain them, and we'll figure that out as we go along. But that's part of this, as far as the building bridge between the cities and the colleges, is to figure out how do we work better to support that from the college. And I do remember a conversation with both deans about if the city could figure out a way to provide housing here for students. So that's something I think two commissioners have mentioned in the past that we kind of got sidetracked on because of other priorities, but we'll try to figure this out as we move forward. And then as two of the commissioners, the whole commission body has mentioned, just regional development and not necessarily be territorial with city to city, especially our border cities. This comes into place when we talk about the Black Shield with the water expansion we mentioned a few times before. If we provide them services they cannot provide, they in turn will bring other businesses in beyond our border that our citizens will be able to thrive from. So that's just an area, one area that we could really look at as far as regionalization. And also, when you talk about regional development, houses again, maybe there are some areas in our sister cities that can't put houses, and maybe we can, especially the county. When I say region, I'm talking about the county as well. They have areas, and they are putting houses up too. So just want to work on that better as far as those bridges, and not have them to continue to be, not bridges. So, and then public policy development, just to improve the communication strategy. We often talk about policy here through social media, through our meetings and other channels, town halls, and things of that nature. The thing I do now, my only tracking measurement for performance measures is going to be Facebook. So I look at our engagements and when we do certain meetings and stuff, and what is really driving the conversation. Unfortunately, it's always going to be something negative that's going to get the most reviews, and we have to figure out how to get past that. And anything positive does not get a huge return, or anything tragic gets a huge return. So we got to figure out how to make these positive stories go further. Because back to the report, 10 years prior to these last 2 years, we only did 7 streets as far as pavement. There were various reasons for that, COVID and a few other things, but we are making progress. I think we did over 20 streets so far the last 2 years, and once we get these dirt roads done, moving to the next year, we should be around 30, 35 streets. So progress is being done, but we have to figure out on our communication strategy how to get all the positive things the commission is driving to the citizens. So as well as back in line with safety. We know there's hurricane season coming up, and trying our best to explain what potentially can happen. Again, last year, this time frame, this is when everything started, was in part of July, then it hit hard in August, and they came back in September. So everybody, again, should be preparing right now as best they can with their own resources, while the city tries its best to prepare what it can with its resources. Again, keep communications. So we are trying to push the Code Red, the city app, the email distribution letter, and list that goes out. You get it, but we're also sending out to those citizens already subscribed. I think right now, and Mr. Simmons, I don't know if you can hear me, I want to say we have maybe about 28 citizens that get the email, and they give us feedback. 2,800 citizens get the email and they give us feedback. We definitely need more. Something we're going to try to do in the near future. Once we have the complete changeover of the IT systems, And we have everybody's email address in there. We're gonna do another monthly type newsletter going straight to the emails. And we should have, I think we have maybe 6,800 customers as far as water and sewer. Hopefully we'll be able to push all that out as far as mass notification each month to them. So that's an added plus of the new software. So I want to say that. And then last thing is conflict resolution. Again, trying to manage conflict we have internally and externally within ourselves and with some of our citizens. Just find a better way to get the shared understanding. As I spoke to some citizens here today, I think a lot of our citizens, of course they're dealing with inflation and a lot of things and poor economics. So of course they're always going to come from a place of scarcity, and we got to understand that. I got to understand that. So we're going to do better to understand and try to communicate. But again, back to the communication strategy. Can't be, hurling insults and all those things and expect the same professionalism back in that manner. So, Mr. Mayor, that kind of concludes my report. I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything here. And I did, and with this, Mr. Mayor, we'll make sure that we do this type of presentation for both meetings. I haven't been doing just for the working session. But then, like I said, look at the algorithm from Facebook last night. Although this meeting gets less interaction, it does get some interaction. Even though you're doing the javelin to get the votes passed, we do have some people that watch this, and I think this will probably boost more views. So we're going to try this attempt as well, as far as posting it back-to-back nights. And I pause if any questions.
Commissioner, did you have any questions of our city manager? Thank you. For the mayor's report, I do want to tell you that there's going to be some homegoing services this weekend for 2 young people who passed away as a result of an event that took place on last week, July the 10th. And those services will take place on this Friday and this coming Saturday. So we do encourage the families, and we do give our condolences to both Nelson and Martin families. And alongside that, we do want to make mention that on the 17th at 8:30, there will be a grand opening for the new Wawas that will be located on Memorial Drive. Those who are interested, please feel free to come. The time will be again 8:30, and there will be a presentation at 11:30. And that's what I have. At this time, we look to our city's clerk for our consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On our consent calendar today, we only have our approval of minutes. We have a Waycross City Commission Planning and Information Session, Monday, June 30th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Also, the Waycross City Commission meeting for Tuesday, July 1st, 2025 at 5 p.m. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. At this time, Commissioner, you have heard the presentation of our consent calendar presented by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by our Commissioner Felder. We'll move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries, and the consent calendar passes. Is there an executive session tonight?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. At this time, we'll entertain a motion for the executive session.
So move.
We have a motion from our Commissioner Nelson, seconded by our Commissioner Bennett. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries, and we are now into our executive session. Want to thank you all for being present tonight. Have a great evening. You may turn off your microphone.